everyone, and welcome. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. This is Making Moves. We have a very special edition today. We're taking a look back at our second full season of all of the things that we've been telling you about transportation in and around Jacksonville. And joining us today to talk more about that is JTA's Executive Director and CEO, Michael Blaylock. Michael, it has been a tremendous season. We've talked about legislative issues. We've talked about construction. We have just talked about tremendous growth and partnerships in Jacksonville. Is that a fair way to summarize what we've been doing?
I don't think I can do it any better than you can. But Joyce, it's been a really tremendous year in terms of activities, from the passage of the legislation to the amount of work associated with the Better Jacksonville plan. Construction jobs on top of construction jobs and completions, and it's just an exciting time for this past year. The partnerships we've had with the various communities and businesses. So it's been a really a pretty strong year.
And you know, one of the things that happened last November, just think about it, it was only a year ago that this happened. The City Council had a hot debate, and that debate was the advertising on the bus shelters. Let's take a look back.
Our top story. Jacksonville will be getting hundreds of much-needed bus shelters after Jacksonville City Council approved a proposal to pay for the shelters through advertising. The vote was 11-6 in favor of amending the city's sign ordinance, authorizing the JTA to pursue an agreement with a private company to build, install, and maintain new transit shelters along the city's commercial corridors. With this program, dozens of new shelters would be added each year. Advertising on the shelters offsets all the costs, potentially saving taxpayers in the millions of dollars over the length of the agreement.
And Michael, as you look at that story, what does all of this really mean for JTA?
It means more covered shelters for a lot of our riders in the system, so they won't have to stand out in the elements in the rain. The good news is that they'll see over 100 new shelters throughout the community. We've already started installation. And yes, there are advertising panels associated with that, but that's allowing us to provide more shelters, and that's been our whole focus from the beginning. So it was a huge fight. It was a good debate. At the end of the day, I mean, we all are scrapping and looking for new ways to finance a lot of our capital improvements. And so we understand exactly what took place, and I think the end result is people want to see more coverage.
And one of the things about the end result is, I understand you already have your first advertising contract.
Yes, and that's moving along pretty nicely. It's kind of new to the area. But the good news is the purpose was to try to find ways to get more of those units out in the communities, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Michael, this was a huge year when you consider all of the things that JTA just touched and had a part of. One of the most favorite to me was the Beach Boulevard Bridge. It was just enormous. It's a wonderful bridge. But also, if you think about it, JTB, I-95, those improvements, all big.
Yeah, we've had a pretty bang-up year, in terms of construction. I wish we can get that now. But Joyce, it really has been, the public has really responded very well in terms of the timeliness of getting those projects off the ground. So they're enjoying the I-95 Butler ramp. They're enjoying the bridge, the Beach Boulevard and the Coastal Waterway Bridge. They're enjoying the full use of Wonderwood Expressway. They're enjoying, and soon already enjoying now, Atlantic and Kernan, which was one of the highest locations for accidents. And so we're making some really significant improvements in that infrastructure, and it's been great. It's really been great.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at some of those construction zone projects.
And the entire project should be finished up the summer of 2011. It's the only section that's currently 2 lanes between I-95 and 9A, so I think by upgrading it to 4 total lanes, improving the drainage along here, it's going to be tremendous. That's going to be some big positives for the people that commute in here, along with all the truckers that are hauling things in and out of the port.
Now, JTA has built a brand new higher fixed bridge over the waterway. It has a 65-foot vertical clearance and 6 lanes.
The new bridge is part of a $78.5 million project that also includes the widening of Beach Boulevard from 4 lanes to 6 lanes between San Pablo and Penman Roads.
The interchange where Interstate 95 meets J. Turner Butler Boulevard on Jacksonville's south side is one of the busiest in the region. With the dozens of businesses in nearby South Point, including St. Luke's Hospital, it's no wonder that traffic congestion getting in and out of this area has long been a problem. A permanent long-term solution is currently being planned to tackle the congestion issues here. But with no money for that project estimated in excess of $100 million, it could be years before work even begins. That's why a ramp improvement project just completed by the JTA is so important.
By widening it to 2 lanes, we dramatically increase the stacking out of the southbound traffic lanes into a safer configuration.
It's just after 4 o'clock, the start of the afternoon rush hour. Usually this section of I-95 is already a veritable parking lot with all 3 lanes of traffic coming to a dead halt as cars try to exit here at JTB. But now with these 2 new Q lanes, traffic is moving along I-95 virtually unimpeded.
Now with 2 lanes exiting off, it allows more people to exit, relieve some of that traffic congestion, and hopefully will cut down on traffic crashes.
When we come back on this very special edition of Making Moves, we'll tell you about some changes to the JTA Board of Directors this year. And Terry Casey will tell us all about regional transportation. So you stay right there.
JTA Making Moves, brought to you in part by Gannett Fleming. Gannett Fleming, connecting people and places with innovative transportation and engineering solutions for over 95 years. And by Florida Career Tech, a division of Florida State College of Jacksonville.
I was looking to jumpstart my career, and Florida Coast Career Tech has the reputation of being the best.
If a student comes to Florida Coast Career Tech, they will end up with a career they love.
I've learned more about HVAC in 3 weeks than I have in my entire construction career.
I'm learning a lot here because the instructors are great.
Florida Coast Career Tech students are trained so well, they can hit the ground running.
Florida Coast Career Tech helped me do this.
The business world can be a stressful place. Running to meetings, phone call after phone call, deadlines. Sometimes you just have to get away. So next time you need some stress relief, hop on board the Beaches Trolley and put some sand between your toes. The Beaches Trolley, now running daily.
And welcome back to this special edition of Making Moves as we're taking a look back on our past season. And of course, we are joined again by Michael Blaylock, CEO and Executive Director of JTA. You know, a lot of things happened during the year, and one of the things that happened is that there was a change on your board of directors. Okay, let's talk about the folks you lost. Charlie Baldwin, A.J. Johns, and Mr. Henson.
Yeah, Joyce, a huge loss in every case. Charles Baldwin, the former secretary, retired and started a new life, but a career engineer. I worked for the DOT a number of years in the private sector, and we had the pleasure of having him serve with us, so now he's retired. A.J. Johns has also retired from our board and still running his company. And Mr. Henson, Don Henson, also resigned and started his new company. So huge losses for us in terms of that talent pool on that board.
Absolutely, and you know, we talked about a lot of legislation during this year. Talk about the legislation and what it meant to JTA.
Well, Joyce, we have to recognize that Jacksonville and this entire region is changing. Our population is increasing and will increase even more. When we talk about the expansion of the port activities, when you talk about all of the developments that will be occurring 50 years from now, you're talking about a lot of demand on our public infrastructure. road system, transit system. And so we're going to have to be about the business of planning from a regional perspective on how might we can improve and make certain that we stay ahead of the game in terms of our transportation system.
And you know, when we talk about regional transportation, one of the things that you had going on was former news anchor Terry Casey went out and did a series of reports for seven reports talking about the surrounding counties, talking about the regional transportation. Why was that so important?
It was very important, Joyce, from the sense that each of those counties are individual counties. And when we talk about transportation, we're really talking about coordinating and collaborating and partnering in terms of how we can build out the transportation network in the region. So it's important to understand the various characteristics of each of the counties, the leadership of the counties, the overall culture of the counties. And so that's important. So it's important to understand the needs of those various counties, and what better way to do that than to go out and talk to them. Absolutely. So that was very, very important. And more important as we further